Good morning, everybody. I want to do a review on this Capri vise that I just bought. It's a 6-inch vise, and it's I bought it from Lowe's for $227, I believe it was. I did a lot of research on vices before I decided to go with this Capri, and the reasons are, I'll go through them here with you and see if you have the same opinion I do. This is not a cast iron. This is a forged steel vise. Not made in China. It's made in Taiwan. But it's an excellent design, and I think it's going to serve me for many years. So a couple of things. It's a 6-inch vise. It has a maximum opening of 8 inches. The jaws line up perfectly. It has a 360-degree turn, and the lockdowns on this are very stout. Some of them are you always see these bent on a lot of vices that turn, where people twist these, end up bending these. You're not going to bend these. Another thing that's nice about this is, like I said, it's 90,000 psi tensile strength, drop forged steel, 8,800 pounds of clamping force, 360-degree turn. And while I'm on the box, another great thing, I ordered a Tecton vise, came in a little box, bounced around all the way from China, ended up returning it. This vise is boxed and excellent. It very thick cardboard, double boxed, and then styrofoam inserts. So this vise was tight as a drum in the box. No damage whatsoever. So once again, there's some of the stats on this. I think if you were to replicate this, I looked at Vise vices. They had another vise on eBay that looked very similar, or not on eBay, but Amazon, that looked very similar to this, which was by Rigid, $450. Like I said, one of the other things that I liked about this vise is the 3 lockdowns instead of the 4. My goal, like so many other people, when they mount these vices, they want to have this back jaw a little further out than the edge of the table, so you can put stock or whatever material you want so it doesn't hit the table. When you have the 4 bolt lockdown, you end up having the front ones are a little further up front, so you get the bolts very close to the front of the table. On the 3, they're stepped back a little bit, which I much prefer. Another thing that I did when I mounted this is that first thing I did is I took it apart and greased the entire vise. There's very little grease that comes from the factory, like many vices. So when I did that, one of the interesting things that this vise also has, which is usually on the higher end vices, are these 2 bolts, if you will, that adjust to set how much play you have in the jaws. And what is inside the back of the vise, actually right on the other side of these 2 bolts, is this triangular piece of metal. And that's about the size of it. It's probably, maybe not quite that big. It's maybe about 3 inches long. And what that does is that slides in from the back, obviously. And as you tighten these bolts, it presses on that metal bar to adjust how much play that you have in this guide, in this overall guide. So it's actually pressing against this part right here. So it's kind of interesting. I didn't know how that worked before when I saw that on other vices, so I took it apart and wanted to share that with you. Another thing that I did when I mounted this is I wanted a very secure mount. So I went out to eBay, and there's a guy that sells remnants, and this is 10-gauge steel plate that I ordered from him. He offers usually 10-inch, 12-inch, different sizes. I wanted a 9-inch size. He cut this and had it delivered to me in less than 4 days. Great outfit. So I'll include his eBay ID in the description. So what I did is another tip is I went out to Bolt Depot. These guys are great. You can order any bolts you want. I went and bought the grade 8 bolts, zinc plated grade 8 steel bolts. Bolt Depot will sell, if you want a single washer, they'll ship it to you. It's like $4 or $5 shipping. It's not crazy. So I bought the bolts from Bolt Depot. And when you mount, typically you put the washer on the top, and the underside you put the nuts. But I wanted something more secure. So if you have a washer on the underside, it's not so much on the top because you've got all the surface area of the vise. But on the bottom, you might have a 1-inch, 3 1-inch washers on the bottom. will give you 3 square inches of surface area pulling up on that nut. So what I did, like I said, 10 gauge is a little thicker than 1/8 of an inch steel plate, very stout. Drilled the holes and mounted that underneath. So instead of having 3 square inches underneath, I now have 81 square inches of surface area that's pulling up on that underside of this, on the underside of this vise. So I think that was a real plus. Like I said, I'll put his eBay user ID out there if you want to order from him. Very responsive, galvanized steel. I think it was $20 shipped for these 2 plates. Very reasonable. So that's my review of the Capri vise, the adjustability, the drop forged steel construction. Like I said, this is a 6-inch. They make a 7-inch and a 4-inch also. This was about 42 pounds, as it is here. Excellently packed, no problems with it. Powder coated. I think to replace or to buy something similar like this and some of the other vices out there, I was looking at mid 400s all day long. So check out Capri tools. Like I said, this is the 6-inch version. The Bolt Depot, great outfit. And hopefully it works for you. Just want to give you another option. Like I said, I looked at vices for 4 or 5 months comparing different options, and this really, based on the mounting configuration, the design, the construction, this was the way to go for me. Take care, guys. Thanks. Bye.